For the past few years, I've been on a ruthless pursuit of scaling my business online. I have a coaching and training business that I started from absolutely nothing, scaled it to 10K a month, then on to 100K a month, and then as much as 1.5 million in a single month. But now, my business that does on average 5 million a year, I'm ditching it almost completely and rebuilding it from the ground up. So in this video, I intend on covering quite a bit. Firstly, I'm going to share with you my exact business model that I use to scale to 5 million a year, and also why it's almost completely stopped working despite what the other marketing gurus might tell you. Then I'm going to share with you the 3 major issues that seem to occur as you try to scale a business that actually sends you backwards, starts to suck the fun out of your business, steals the joy, and leaves you operating a business that you hate. But then finally, I'll share with you exactly what I'm doing right now as we speak to completely destroy the Frankenstein business that I've built and rebuild it brick by brick, step by step, knowing what I know now. But firstly, for those that are new here, my name is Penberthy. I'm known for generating over $40 million online selling my digital programs, founding AdCon, the UK's largest marketing conference for experts, and being featured in Forbes, Success, and Entrepreneur magazines for my contributions to the industry. So I've done a thing or two, and here on the channel, I love sharing my insights and my takeaways along the way. So let's get into it. Let's start with the current model that I've been using that's made me millions, but no longer really works. Everything started with paid ads. And I would typically run a video ad on YouTube or Meta, maybe even Instagram. So all of my traffic I am paying for, and I'm sending that in to a sales funnel, typically a webinar, but some people might use a VSL. These have been interchangeable in my industry. There are different marketing gurus that would be more pro webinar, which I would fall into, other marketers more pro VSL. But either way, we're kind of using one of these 2 funnels, and essentially out the other end, we're going direct to booking a call on your calendar and then offering your coaching. And in most cases, it's high ticket coaching, so it's going to be around $10,000. This is the model that we've been using. I've been doing this for years and years, probably going on 10 years now. And this used to work like an absolute dream. And it's worked so well for a number of reasons. The first being that paid ads used to be so much cheaper. I mean, now you might pay $20 to acquire a lead on your list, whereas I remember when I first started running paid ad campaigns, you could get leads, targeted high-value leads, for like 10 cents. You could get 10 leads for $1, whereas now you're paying $20 for just 1. And so times have completely changed. But traffic used to be so cheap. Then you send that through a webinar or a VSL, and it was exciting and people wanted it and they were hooked on your every word. And then when they were offered the opportunity to book a call, everyone was booking calls because it was, again, exciting. It was an experience, and conversions were really, really high. You could experience a 30% conversion on the phone. So you speak to 3 people and you're making $10,000. What was also amazing is that you could get calls booked on the calendar for, on average, like $100, a high quality, almost ready to buy prospect. And then when you're converting at 30%, 3 out of every 10, we're talking about $300 to acquire a sale, and that sale was worth $10,000 to you. So this model was insane. It's made me so much money. So now let's talk about the problems. The costs of paid traffic went through the roof, but that was coupled with the fact that these types of funnels, albeit webinars, I still feel are king of all the funnels. It's the best one you could be using, but conversions were still going down. The interaction with live webinars, attendance rates, view rates on VSLs, everything was down. So now you're paying more for the traffic to get a smaller return on the attention that you've just paid for. Couple that with the fact that the cost to now get a call booked on the calendar went sky high, just as paid ads did, because there's a correlation here. And then sales conversion on the phone went down as well. People were getting nervous. They had been burnt before. They weren't buying like they used to. They were canceling calls. They weren't showing up. And essentially what was a beautiful, highly profitable model has become now still a profitable model, but so much harder to make that work. Now, the second thing that I said I wanted to share with you were the 3 issues that can creep in that steal the fun, steal the joy, and have you operating a business that you start to hate, and I want to share those with you right now. The issue is that as you try to scale a business like this, you've got a few core disciplines in the business. You've got marketing, you've got sales, you've got client delivery, and then you've got operations, the glue that's holding everything together. That's the boring stuff. It's the admin. It's making sure the cogs are turning. The first of three issues that can creep in is that because marketing's getting harder, you find that you're spending almost 100% of your time on the marketing, and your client attention is actually starting to suffer. And you know that it's suffering, yet you feel trapped because you need to generate more clients in order to float the business. And so you're trying to keep your current clients happy while desperately trying to find more so the business can keep running, and you feel stuck over here in marketing, but you're desperate to get back over here. That's the first thing. The second thing is, as you start to scale the business, these numbers that are already struggling get harder and harder. So as you try to scale the amount of traffic that you're getting, what was $10 a lead becomes 15 or 20. And so maybe you could keep the business going if you could just generate leads at $10. But now you try to scale everything, lead cost doubles, which means cost per call doubles, which means profit is being squeezed. And so now you're battling focusing only on marketing, and that's not the place that you necessarily want to be. Couple that with the fact that everything's costing you more and more and more as you're trying to scale, and there's barely a slither of profit left. And the third is, in all of this, you get stuck in the operation of the business, and you've completely moved out of the seats that you want to be in. If you're anything like me, I imagine you're watching this and you want to just stay in the seat of big picture thinker. You want to have creative control of the business. You want to think up all these awesome ideas, and you want to have a massive impact on your industry. And what you're finding is actually you're not able to sit in any of those seats anymore. You have to take all of those hats off, and what you find your day looks like is just dealing with nonsense, admin, chaos, and all the stuff that you didn't sign up for. These are three things that creep in as you try to scale, but it is actually coupled with the fact that you're using, as you try to scale, a suboptimal model. So that brings us to the most important part of the video. What is the solution, and what am I doing now to rebuild my business, to break this apart and put it back together brick by brick? Well, I'm going to share that with you right now, but I do want to preface something. I still teach this model in my coaching programs, and that is because this as a starting place is actually where I would recommend you still begin, because this will have you learning the process. You learn how to run ads, you learn how to build your first funnel, you learn how to get calls booked, and you start to close on the phone. And then that's phase one. Then we move to phase two as quickly as possible. And that's what I'm going to share with you right now. The new plan, the revised plan, and we'll get into it. And it's all built around the model that I teach here. It's called the Momentum Framework. And it's really, really important that right now, the way in which we're building our businesses incorporates step two, as I outlined here for driving traffic, move them through your marketing and sales process in the way that I'm about to describe, and then down into the back end operation to maximize revenue. I'm going to map it out for you right now. I'm going to teach you, but you're definitely going to want to grab this framework so you can follow along at home. So there'll be a link in the description box or a QR code popping up. Visit that link, tell me where to send this, I'll get it straight over to you. So let's actually break this down. Before I scrub this off, notice that everything started here with only paid ads. I'm going to work, instead of left to right, I'm going to work top down in this scenario. Here we've got traffic. Now, the new way of driving traffic is that we need to have multiple traffic strategies. To combat the fact that paid ads are getting more expensive, we still want to incorporate buy it traffic, which is paid ads, but we also want to now incorporate build it traffic, which is where we're building an audience and a following on a various social media platform. It could be YouTube, like you're watching right now, most likely. It could be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, but we're building a platform that we control. It takes more time, but we're not having to buy the traffic. And then finally, we've got borrow it. And this is where we're finding someone else that has the audience that we want, and we're able to position ourselves in front of them on podcasts and other people's events and things like this. And so we're funneling all of that traffic into our marketing and sales approach that looks like a pair of pants. Now, everything must start with lead capture. It's so important now that rather than sending someone directly into a funnel where perhaps we can convert them into a client, but we don't have any way really of following up with people afterwards. Instead, we're going to be sending some people down into our email list so that if they buy on the first occurrence or not, we've got a great way of following back up. So everything must channel into lead capture. Then we break this up in between marketing and sales. Now, the marketing can still be a sales funnel that you were using before, which is why I said the old plan is still the current plan for getting started, and then we bolt on this stuff around. So for your marketing, I still recommend a webinar. I find that it works better than any other funnel out there for providing value, building relationship, and funneling people down through the sales process. So then we have sales. And similarly to how we were booking sales appointments before, with the old model, we're making a dramatic change. And that change is rather than just willy-nilly inviting someone to book a call with you and see if there's some synergy, which is often the phrase that people use, we flip the process. I want people out the other end of my webinars, out the other end of my marketing, to actually apply to work with me. It's not a guarantee that you get to come into my program. I'm hand selecting the right clients to work with. So the sales process actually is all about someone applying to see if they qualify and whether they can be invited into the program. I've got different scripts and frameworks and processes. I teach my clients with this stuff. But then what you find is you have people coming to you as opposed to you trying to fight your way to the sale. And of course that generates your first client. Now, you might say, well, John, that sounds kind of similar to the old model with pretty much just the addition of a couple of different traffic strategies and an application process. Well, there's more, but I will point out that those two subtle changes, even by themselves, actually makes a massive difference to the business. Because when you're leveraging other people's audiences and you're leveraging free traffic and warm traffic as well as your paid ads, well, now the traffic costs are spread, so it's cheaper to get people in, and then this converts better than it used to. But you've now got two further additions that are critically important. We've got our email list over here. Most people focus on just this one channel of attention, and then they either buy or they don't, and you go out and try and find more traffic, and you just circle this process. Most people don't focus on this. Most people spend their time driving traffic, sending them through this process. They either buy or they don't, and then they just go and try and find more people, more eyeballs, more attention, and they just recycle that process, forgetting that we're now building a really valuable email list of people that raised their hand, said they were interested in your business. And so what we do is we spend a tremendous amount of time building relationship with, providing value to, and further converting the leads that are on your list to this product. If you think, in the first week, maybe you landed 2 clients at 10K, call it 20K in revenue. Okay, great. Now you've got to go back and try to find more people to make your next 20K. What if you built a great relationship with these leads? What if over time they just needed to trust you that little bit more before making a buying decision? What if they needed to sit in your incubator, which could be your YouTube channel like you're watching right now, and then after so much time has passed, they're ready to invest with you? What if that initial 20 could become 120 once you convert more of these leads? That's the reality, and that makes a massive difference to your bottom line. Couple that with the final strategy here, which is having an ascension in your business, meaning that the product that they just purchased is the first of many. Maybe you have another offer that they can join once they've finished in that program. Maybe you have another offer that is different to the initial one you tried to sell here. So for people on this list that maybe like you, but didn't particularly need or want this offer, maybe there's something else you've got. Maybe you can partner up with someone. Maybe you can find affiliate products to promote where you get a commission. The more you can add to your back end, the more offers you have, the more opportunity you have to increase the revenue in your business, thus taking a broken model that was very one-dimensional before, and now you've fleshed it out to a machine that takes us back to the profit center that we used to enjoy back in the 2016, 2017 days. So don't forget to grab your Momentum framework. It's free. It's my gift to you. Check that out below. If you'd like to further your education right now, one of the most critical pieces of this entire model is right here. It's sales. It's converting someone. It's going from cold to sold, and I've got a very specific framework that makes selling so effortlessly easy that people can't help but get their credit card out and read the digits to you over the phone. It's super cool, and you can check it out in this video right here. So check that one out. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in a future video.